So let's talk about the final Hellraiser film so far in the franchise, Hellraiser Judgment, which came out this year. Um, Now, like I've said in my other reviews, watching these sequels, because I saw the original before, and I rewatched the original and watched all of the sequels for the first time, not ever knowing anything about any of them, I have either liked or not really liked or hated one of these movies, but I've never disliked any of them besides one. So I think that it's actually great that I've watched this franchise and not disliked every sequel like everybody says. Um, but after Hellraiser Revelations, which I thought, in my opinion, was just garbage. Like I hate using that word garbage. Like I don't want to say that because I want to find something positive about it. But I could not find anything positive about Revelations, the last one before this. Um, so I was kind of scared going into this one. But I heard that this one was really good. This one had good praise about it. And going into this and watching Judgment, I thought it was just okay. I didn't think that it was as amazing as I heard people review it, and I thought that it wasn't bad. It just was really average. Like, this was an average sequel, like a lot of them. And I don't get why this one stands out more than the other later sequels, because I feel like, in my opinion, in terms of entertainment, I think that Inferno, which is a story similar to this one, Hellraiser 5 Inferno, I think that one's way more interesting than this one. I think that this one, it's very similar stories because Hellraiser 5 Inferno is a is a detective story. Hard-boiled cop, like, trying to find clues about this missing kid. And in this one, it's about these policemen who are trying to find, or these, well, I guess these cops too, that are trying to find clues about these mysterious killings going on. And I thought it did way better in 5, honestly. I like the main character in 5 way more. And I like that he was such an unlikable character, but you kind of, like, the performance was good from that guy. And it had a lot of cool imagery. And this one does have some cool imagery. I think that the opening kill is really good, really creepy. It's kind of a really what the fuck movie though, in terms of the other ones have weird things too, but this one just is really weird. Like, starting out, it's just like this fat guy who's a pedophile gets killed, and there are these naked women who are part of the guy from the last movie who changed into a Cenobite. Like, he has these women who are, all these naked women who are just eating this, like, pedophile guy, like, killing him and eating him, and then he gets slashed, like, a lot with a scythe, and it's actually really good. But it's just really strange. But the kill was really great, the opening kill. And it's just really, like, I like the opening a lot, and then after that, honestly, like, it's totally fine, but it's just kind of uninteresting to me. Like, I think it's a police procedural movie, basically, like a TV police procedural, but it's just not very interesting. These actors are totally fine in this role. Like, they are totally fine. The acting is nothing like the last one. The acting's totally serviceable. It's just the story is just really boring. Like, it's just not that interesting. Even though, like I said, it's got a good kill. It's got a couple good kills, honestly, but the first one is the best one, I think. But it's just a police procedural that's not very interesting. It's really boring. And also, halfway through the movie, whenever they're investigating, like, they find, and I saw her name in the opening credits, and I'm like, whoa, Heather Langenkamp's gonna be in this movie. And she's in this movie for like 10 seconds. Like, and she doesn't even look like herself. Like, she looks, I don't think she looks that old. I think they might put makeup on her, but she looks really weird, and she just talks really weird. I don't get why she was in this movie for 10 seconds, and she was like really high up in the billing too, and I'm like, that's stupid that she's barely in this movie. Why did you waste Heather Langenkamp? But I just thought that was funny that she's in this for like 10 seconds. And I thought that the police procedural plot leads into the Pinhead plot, but it just doesn't it's not as interesting as like something like say Inferno, which is very similar, where it's like the same kind of thing. But Inferno, I thought had a better story, had a better main character, had better kills, had better visuals. I will say this though about this movie is that it looks great for a direct-to-video movie. It looks really, really good. Again, after the worst one, Revelations, which was literally horrible camera work. Like it looked like it was amateurishly made by anybody. Like the camera work in that movie is terrible in Revelations, and in this one, it looks like a crime procedural movie, like a police procedural movie. Like it looks literally like that. And whenever it shows the Hellraiser stuff, it looks really good in terms of how much money they got into this for this direct-to-video movie. Like I'm surprised that it looks that good. So I liked how this movie looked, and I liked the effects. The effects are good. The kills are good. It did a good job of being a good looking direct-to-video movie. Like it has a budget to it, and I like that. I like that it actually had like money towards this as opposed to Revelation, which was made in like 2 weeks. But yeah, the title Judgment I thought was cool in terms of like Pinhead is doing judgment on the main character, but it just wasn't as interesting in like execution, I guess. And then we got this really weird ending where this, and I'm kind of blanking on this because I kind of phased out towards the end of the movie because I'm like, this is kind of boring, where this one blonde-haired angel like woman, by the end Pinhead kills her, and then Pinhead literally, like by God's command, he goes and becomes human and suffers on Earth. Like that was a cool, interesting ending. Like it literally is like it shows a shot of him out in the real world just sitting there and screaming like, what does he scream? Pain or suffering? He screams one of those, but then like it just shows him out in the real world as a human, like in like a homeless area, which I thought was really an interesting way to make this franchise different, I guess, even though we haven't got a sequel to this yet. But I wonder what they're going to do next with this franchise, because they literally made him human. But to be fair, they did that already in the other Hellraiser movies, where he became human in 2 again, and then he was back to normal in 3. So I don't know, they could completely just debunk that in the next one. But overall, like I said, this movie definitely better than the last one. Visually, it looks really good for a direct-to-video movie. I think it looks like a good police procedural in just how it looks, but the characters are not very interesting. They're pretty boring. The kills are pretty good. But I'm just very like mixed on it. Like I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. I felt like there were a lot of moments where I enjoyed it, but there were a lot of moments where I was like, okay, this is just bland and uninteresting, and it was not anything that I really thought was great in terms of anything. Like it was just, not in terms of entertainment, it's not very entertaining. So this is not my least favorite of them all, but it's not my favorite. I thought this one would have been closer to my favorite because people kept saying how good it was, but I just thought it was just alright. Like I said, it has good things and bad things about it. It's not the worst, it's not the best. Just a average sequel to end out this franchise.